Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. In this video, we're going to be reacting to a piece from Candice Owens. It says, "Black people owes me an apology." The title is what actually caught me on this one, so I thought, let's check it out. Alright, without any further ado, people, let's go.
Happy birthday to me. Not really my birthday, but it feels like a birthday. I feel like I should be receiving presents and that somebody should be making me a cake because of this little update on Black Lives Matter. My friends, guess what? They are headed for insolvency after plunging $8.5 million into the red. Wow, what? How didn't they collect $90 million following the George Floyd? Who was it that was saying that it was a scam? I don't remember. Who was the girl that was saying that BLM was definitely a scam?
That I don't support the Black Lives Matter movement whatsoever because the Black Lives Matter movement does not support me. I think that a better title for that movement would be Black Deaths Matter. They seem to protest, they seem to rage, and they seem to ruin, and they seem to support violence when a black person dies. What about when a black person lives? There are tons of black people that are trying to better themselves in their community. There are tons of black people that are disadvantaged by the homes that they are born into and just not having money. These groups do not fund them. They will pay for somebody's funeral, but they will not pay for somebody's college education.
You say Black Lives Matter is what?
Is a political arm for the Democratic Party.
That has been co-opted.
Correct.
Patrisse Cullors continues to lie. Black Lives Matter continues to lie. $90 million, of which $21 million apparently went to, according to Black Lives Matter themselves, it went to building the black movement. Like, I don't even know what that means.
What is that? What is building the black movement? Okay, I'll state my position quickly on this Black Lives Movement business. I wasn't a supporter of it, and I'll explain why. I understood the reason it was being discussed. I got the reason why they needed to be focused on a certain race. I completely got that. I think the problem I had with it was that the rhetoric that was coming out as a result of this movement wasn't one of unity. It was one of further division. Instantly, that I knew it was doomed to fail. The issue of race is difficult to talk about already without making people feel as though they are being blamed for an act that they were not part of. So that was kind of my issue initially, and a lot kind of came out of that. So I think personally that she's making some very good point.
$25 million going to building a black movement. Apparently, the black movement was Patrisse moving herself, a black woman moving herself into other areas of the communities of people that she claims are oppressing black Americans. She's fearful of white people. White people are so bad. Well, why doesn't she want to live amongst black people? Oh my God, it was me. It was actually me. I was saying that for years, and I got called an Uncle Tom, I got called a coon, I got called all sorts of things. I got called a bedwench. I got called someone that was tap dancing for the white man. And I think what they were really looking for was the phrase that Candace is more intelligent than me and wasn't going to fall for another race hustle. Because that's what Black Lives Matter always was, right?
You know what? I keep saying this. All this name they call black people that don't fall in line is just pure lazy. It's laziness. It's just pure laziness. It's pure. When you've lost the argument and you haven't got any credible response, then you result in name calling. It's like going back to school when you're in the playground. That's just, but this time it's just grown-ups doing it.
People that are emotional and are uneducated respond to that, right? They respond to someone saying, "Ah, the Klansmen are coming back if you don't vote for me." And then they run in the streets and they say, "Oh, we got to protest Trump because this person tells me the Klansman is coming." But they don't even stop to think. This is what BLM did. They wanted the ultimate hustle, right? They said, okay, we got Trump in office. We've got the media telling everybody that he's aligned with David Duke and that he's literally Adolf Hitler. So now we're going to get the lowest denominator, which we believe to be Black Americans, the dumbest people, the least educated people, which, by the way, factually speaking, when you take a look at the literacy rates in America, yeah, it's a bit of a problem. We're going to get those people, expect them to respond emotionally and follow us into the streets. And they can grab some handbags. What they'll get back is a few handbags, and then business owners will move out of their neighborhoods, and they'll be impoverished after they sell those handbags. But we're going to give them some fun. And Black people just did it. I mean, it was just so dumb. It was embarrassing. It was foolish. I didn't care, not a single minute, when I was called a name, because when you're right, you're right. Okay? When you are right, you are right. And it pays to just wait and let time settle the dust. And boy, has time done just that. Financial disclosures obtained by the Washington Free Beacon show the perilous state of BLM Global Networks Foundation, which officially emerged in 2020 as a more formal way of structuring the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement. Scam. Yet despite the financial controversy and scrutiny, BLM continued to hire relatives of the founder, Patrisse Cullors, and several board members. Cullors' brother, Paul Cullors, set up 2 companies, which were paid $1.6 million, providing professional security services. Basically, Patrisse Cullors hired all her family, all her friends. She dispersed all of the money to them, and now they're going to leave BLM where it is, dead in the water, because it was never about anything other than hustling white people that feel guilty for being white. They're idiots, and Black people that are stupid and are so invested in their race that they suspend logical thinking. Also, idiots. And I don't feel bad for either of these people. But so if you donated to Black Lives Matter because you were feeling white and guilty, or you're feeling Black and stupid, I just don't care. You got what you deserved. So go on, Patrisse, with your big bad self. Enjoy those millionaire houses. Invite me over. Invite me over, Patrisse. Let's hang out. Okay, speaking of BLM and individuals that are low IQ, who, of course, end up being the most racist individuals in society and also the most violent individuals in society, because when you don't have any intellect, it's very easy to impart your emotions at all times, and your emotions will spiral, and you become physically violent because you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to rationalize. Well, that was my verdict instantly regarding the adjunct professor at Hunter College yesterday. We showed you who went up to a pro-life group that was simply passing out brochures to state why they were pro-life. And she freaked out, accused them of violence because they didn't agree with her. And then she threw their brochures and attempted to flip the table in this horrific act of violence. And Hunter College was investigating it, and I declared that this is a violent woman. Well, if I had just held on for a few minutes, I would have found that she then was pursued by a New York Post reporter and a cameraman at her house, and she put a machete to the reporter's neck. The footage is unbelievable. Take a listen.
Away from my door. Get the away from my door.
Let's get out of here. You can't do that.
I mean, it is so shocking. You can't even.
Oh my days. You're already in your house. Just shut your door if you don't agree with it. Just close your door. You don't need to entertain it. Really? All right. Firstly, I've got to talk about this bit. Whilst I completely get where Candice is coming from, and I see the point she's trying to make there. But at the same time, I feel it's important to acknowledge the emotional roller coaster that people were taking on during that period, where the media made this Floyd situation, or rather they sensationalized that event. I'm not sure why that was a particular one that was picked, but it was that one that was picked. It was horrible, it was horrific, and it should never have happened. The events that followed also should never have spiraled in the way it did. Because people, like the Black Lives Movement, gained a lot of notice, and by the sounds of it, a lot of money after that. But what's the point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make here is that a lot of people were exposed. Their emotions, they were taken advantage of, and that was not okay. It was not okay, because when news like this comes out, what it then creates is hardened individuals that when something serious then happens, they're unlikely to take it seriously, because the last time they did, they were hustled. Why do I want to take the next one serious? Those are the sort of mentality we then create. We're humans with emotions, and it's okay to be able to express those feelings and do what we can to be able to support our fellow human that's struggling. We shouldn't be made to feel like idiots. And I'm just afraid that when people are made to feel like idiots, they come back with a vengeance. They come back reluctant to want to really engage in any sort of interaction that involves certain topics because of how they feel like they were taken advantage of.
Imagine this taking place anywhere, but I don't know, in a country that is being overtaken by ISIS and they're about to conduct a beheading. That's what she looks like. She looks like an ISIS soldier, which, by the way, many people, the most radical BLM soldiers, were ISIS soldiers, right? They were willing to go this far. So you kind of begin to peel back this onion and you realize, wait, what the hell is happening? She then followed them outside onto the street with this machete and chased them running. Take a look. So what you have at first is these two men. They look like they're maybe going to their car, and she's behind them, and she has her hood up, and she has her machete, and she's pursuing the guy particularly that has the camera, right? Because she thinks he's taking photos, not realizing that there's a dashboard camera that's catching all of this. She is chasing him on foot, and then his partner, who I'm assuming is the actual reporter, then chases her away. I mean, this is just unbelievable footage. They're running around the car. She is a machete-wielding maniac, but also an adjunct professor at Hunter College who also taught at NYU. This is terrifying stuff. And this is not something to mock. Obviously, this woman should be arrested. And then Hunter College finally said, oh, now we're going to release her. So she's since been fired. But why did it take her wielding a machete to be fired, right? She should have been fired immediately after she violently attacked those kids who simply had brochures. How did she even make it into the hallways of Hunter College or NYU? Oh, I know. It was another DEI initiative where you have a bunch of criminals that are flying under the radar of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because what you are including are people that are insane, that are uneducated, that are low IQ, okay, and that are going to demand that you let them into those spaces to teach what? Militancy. That is exactly what she was there to teach, okay? Calling herself a professor of the arts. No, she's a complete and utter whack job that should be in prison. Want to know another fun fact about this woman? Shalene Rodriguez, that's her name, by the way, is also suing the NYPD, claiming officers abused her when she was arrested in the Bronx during a protest over the murder of George Floyd in June of 2020. Again, I did not have this information yesterday, and none of it surprises me. I made exactly the right prognostications about her, that she's a whack job type BLM protester who is exceedingly violent. And despite her violence, despite having an arrest record with the NYPD, despite the fact that they knew that this individual was a problem and they arrested her, they apprehended this person, she still was allowed to teach in the halls at NYU and Hunter College. She is not the only person that should be fired from Hunter College. The entire ecosystem that ever allowed her into a position to harm children should be fired, right? Whatever it is, it's going to be some DEI office that's looking for unique and artsy individuals with a history of being violent and protesting and standing up for their rights. They should all be fired. They should all be dismissed. And this goes back to something that is wonderful about Ron DeSantis, that he has done this in the state of Florida, that he has said no to adjunct professors like Shalene Rodriguez, who have no place anywhere but in a prison. If you like this video, you will like the full episode even better. You can find it by clicking the link in the description.
Gosh. Oh dear. That was okay. I'm all for equality. I'm all for inclusion. I'm all for ensuring that people feel like they belong. I'm all for all of that. I'm also all for fairness and all for ensuring that things are done right. The Black Lives Movement, especially here in England when people started taking the knee, I just thought, what a bunch of nonsense. What a bunch of nonsense. It's just another tokenistic gesture that means nothing. Okay, we're going to just take the knee. For what? Whose benefit? Not my benefit. It doesn't benefit me that somebody's taking the knee. It's just like when somebody's racist to you and somebody else from a different race tries to jump in, want to rescue you by getting angry and aggressive on your behalf. That's not for my benefit. That's for the person's benefit. Because when you've lived that life for as long as you've lived it, you've become used to that way of living. But most importantly, you develop a way of coping with that. And your focus becomes about how do we educate the other person? What is it that person must be going through to feel the only way they can engage and interact with their fellow human being is in that way? Use derogatory comments, be violent or aggressive towards that person. What is it that that person is dealing with for them to feel like that's the only way they can respond? Secondly, how do we try and get this person to the table so we can have a meaningful conversation outside of telling them that my life is very, because of my skin color, everybody's going to start telling you that you have to start respecting me. Everybody's going to start forcing it down your throat that you have to start respecting me. It needs to come from within. Change, meaningful change, needs to come from within. You don't know if that person hates people of a certain color because of the experience that they've had, maybe from a very tender age to where they are now, and that's the only experience that stuck with them, and nobody's been able to show them anything different. We need to treat people as individuals, and we need to be able to meet people where they are. We can't force people to accept what we believe in. And that's why we've got a lot of these problems we've got. That's why we've got all these divides and all these people trying to create their own little echo chambers where they just have the same viewpoints. And we wonder why they can't seem to get on with the other people. Because we've limited ourselves to the point where we just can't seem to be flexible enough and hear and tolerate other people's point of view. For starters, whatever somebody says, that should trigger our thought process. If we can allow that to do all, just think about it, then we can be able to start a conversation. If you're not willing to think, how are you going to engage in a meaningful conversation? the Black Lives Movement wasn't. They could have done that, but included everyone. They could have done that, but ensured that it was about opening a conversation rather than trying to create this militia that tries to eliminate the said oppressors. I do that with a quotation mark because some people still think that certain race are oppressors. Even, yes, there are systems in place, but these systems have been in place for time before. And to be able to ensure that you create that balance where nobody feels excluded, you're going to need to be part of that system. You can't be part of the system if you're deliberately removing yourself from it and you're trying to force it to change. We start our change on a micro level. We need to be able to love each other to then be able to kind of gradually move up the ladder. For starters, what's stopping us from moving up the ladder? We've got access to education. We've got access to resources that where our forefathers never did. Yes, sometimes it's difficult, but it's only difficult if you're unwilling to take the plunge. All right. I'm going to stop there. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about that. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was thought-provoking. I thought it's important. Whilst in a very forceful way, she doesn't believe in she doesn't recognize, or rather, no, not recognize. I believe that she does recognize this, but refuses to accept that these people that fell for this scam were also victims. I think that's the bit I'm looking for. They were also victims. They were taken on a ride. And we need to be able to meet these victims and support them through this. Yeah, interesting. I look forward to reading your comment in the comment section below. And yeah, let me know if there's any other stuff that she's got that we should react to. And we can all engage in a conversation. If you like what we're all about, please like, subscribe, and join our community. And until next time, you make sure you look after yourself and you stay safe. It has been Kings. Peace. Bye for now.